Hello, everyone, and welcome back to BLBS. I was about to say Question for the Bestest, but that's later. We're doing that later. Today is Sunday, and that means it's time for BLBS. It's time for us to screw around, talk about some random topics. We've got some leftovers from last week. I've got some leftovers in my bowl, and today we're going to be talking about a bunch of random stuff. Abram straighten up his glasses, getting ready. This is going to be a
Abram is gonna have to prepare because we're kind of gonna come at him from all sides if the topics this week are accurate to what we planned.
This is gonna be perhaps the most fiery episode of BLBS.
Yeah,
we've got some great questions lined up for Tucker's an Idiot. This is also the last one before I'm gone for like 2 weeks, so this is the mid-season finale, if anything.
We are going to just absolutely rail Abram.
Well. Well,
nice choice of words there, buddy.
Well, it popped into my mind, and I really couldn't get it out, and it had to come out one way or the other way. And you know what?
Oh, I don't.
Oh God!
You know, we were just.
Well, why don't we start with that aforementioned railing? Today we're going to be talking about. Huh?
Oh.
What?
I don't know what railing we're talking about.
The one on your building. Just speak. Speak, man. Speak.
Me?
Yeah. What are you talking about? Finish your damn sentence.
Oh, we're gonna talk about this. We're talking about the fucking Snyder Cut.
We're gonna talk about the goddamn Snyder Cut.
So
you're talking about the goddamn Snyder Cut. That was planned for last week, but we talked too long about Game Awards, so here we are.
Yeah.
I've got the trailer pulled up for when we want to watch it real quick. And then yeah, we shall discuss.
In a quick prelude to this, because I know it's going to get fiery. We did get just done talking about how we've gotten a few complaints, namely from various parents of the BLB boys, that that were too vulgar on our shows, on our content. So, do we want to try and contain ourselves?
Absolutely not right now.
Loose. Okay.
Not for this segment.
I'll just preemptively tell you to go fuck yourself because it's going to get bad.
Argo.
The Snyder Cut. So let's just lay the groundwork right here.
I want to let everyone know I've got a gaunt look on my face. I'm paling. My blood is leaving my face because I am terrified. I am scared. I do think that the third Captain America movie is about to be recreated here. Civil War.
Civil War.
At the same time, when the fandom trailer dropped, Tucker and I had a very pleasant conversation about. I
was worried about it.
Thing. So, but here's the thing: if I'm about to get spit roasted by many different members of the show, I have to go.
I like the verbs that we're using here.
I have been thinking about this because I've had 2 weeks to prepare for this. If we're going to talk about the Snyder Cut, I'm going to do my best to talk about the Snyder Cut and the Snyder and not the fans, because those are two separate entities.
Okay. Yeah,
I'll probably fail, but that's just a little groundwork on my. I'm laying some underground working piping.
You're laying pipe.
I was trying to say that, but not.
All right. That's enough faffing about, boys. Let's goddamn do this thing.
You want to watch the trailer and then we shall begin to discuss? Let's watch the trailer. Right. Okay.
Let's try not to rag on it while we're watching it.
No, I'm just gonna.
Abram, try not to nut your pants.
I also can't play any audio on it, so
yeah.
You know what it
sounds like. Try not to remove any
sing,
clothing.
I'll sing Hallelujah. Don't worry.
Is this okay? So this is the original trailer, not the newer
Kurosawa trailer.
This is the one from his Twitter. That's on his Twitter.
Okay.
It is.
I think this is the new one.
Because there's a new one. There's a new one in color with actual dialogue over it.
Okay, well,
and not Hallelujah.
What's happening in this? What's the sound like, Abram? What's happening?
It sounds only like Hallelujah. This trailer, because it's just Hallelujah playing in the background.
The bad version.
I'm not a cinephile.
That's true.
all I want to say for this portion of the discussion.
It's very interesting to have this man admit this, which I have respect for. Being a film major.
Yeah,
I find that peculiar.
I'm working on it, but I'm more of the new media side than the film in particular. I'm a big film enthusiast, but I would say I only have enough time to learn about video games. You know what I'm talking about?
That's true. You know me, and you know how much of a difficult time I have splitting those two worlds properly, and it comes to a head occasionally. I'm not fucking paying attention to this trailer, by the way.
I am trying to, but it's awfully hard without any sound. I'm just trying to imagine.
My arms are crossed. Oh look, is that Steppenwolf or whatever the fuck?
I've seen this trailer literally 15 times, so I
know you have. I know you have.
Where's the part with the dude off of the NVIDIA GT 360 box?
He's coming up. He's coming up.
He's coming up. More spikes.
Yeah, there he is, baby!
More spikes!
Spike TV.
If there was a Marvel logo in front of this trailer, people would be singing a different tune, but that's just because of the deep bias that runs throughout the film critique community.
I'm going to disagree with you there, but that's because I hate both franchises equally.
Fair.
We can. I think Marvel fans, Tucker and I specifically, can accept that there are bad films in the Marvel universe. So I think
me too, in fact. Me too.
In the MCU, we'd recognize that. Except
no, I agree. They're both flawed.
Except that Tucker doesn't recognize that Iron Man 3 is a bad movie on the whole.
Iron Man 3 is pretty good. I'll give him that one. That's pretty good. I like Shane Black.
I like Shane Black too, but we're not talking about Iron Man 3.
It's no kiss kiss bang bang, but it's okay.
It's almost done. Okay. Ooh. Well, YouTube is
Twitter feed.
Whoa. Yeah. Cool.
Insider baseball.
Mm-hmm. Apparently, I've just learned this. I did not know this before, but Twitter can detect video. I thought it was, or YouTube can. So it gave me a little nippy.
YouTube can detect video.
It can live YouTube. It can live watch it, and it gave me a little
Yeah.
Oh no, Discord.
No, YouTube gave me a little warning about the copyrighted nature of the thing we just watched. We are commenting on that. Gotcha. That's for fair use, but YouTube doesn't give a shit. So.
This is all parody. This is parody and fair use, Zack Snyder. Thank you, but don't sue us.
Let us recreate the Snyder Cut right now. It'll be a parody.
Okay.
And then Zack Snyder can't fucking come in here with his cocksuit and sue us.
Can we put a black and white filter on this for no goddamn reason? It doesn't serve the purpose of the medium in any way, shape, or form.
Everyone, mute your mics and we'll play a crappy song. That will make it better.
Good idea.
This is off the rails already. Okay, shall I bring us back on course?
Abram,
from off the rails to into railing.
Why don't you plead your case for us so we can tear it apart ruthlessly?
Okay, here the bottom line is that either you like what Snyder does or you don't. It's not particularly complicated. I don't even really have much of the intention to sit here and convince you because there's nothing I could say under the fucking sun that could do it. No. So here's what I'll say instead. I'm just going to talk from my perspective, having seen the extended cut of Batman vs Superman 6 times. It's my favorite CBM. I think it's just genuinely a good film. What I like about Snyder's work is that it feels very different. It feels outside of the comic book apparatus. It's a more mature and higher scope product that I appreciate. I like that the film is different. I like that it has Hallelujah over it, basically as a fuck you to Warner Brothers and as a celebration to his daughter who passed away. That was her favorite song, and that's why that song in particular is chosen. As to the aspect ratio and the black and white, I am tired of seeing the exact same thing over and over again. I am tired of the trailers that go blah with the nice establishing shots full of CGI and everything. I like that Zack Snyder has an aesthetic, and I think his commitment to aesthetic ends up with a very interesting picture. Love Snyder or hate him, there's far more to say and to engage with in what Snyder does than a lot of other CBM directors. And for me, that means a lot. And as somebody who likes the more mature slant that DC has always taken, I like what he has done with the characters. Regardless of the depictions of them, they're an interesting lens into the Marvel universe. And I just think that the way Snyder directs has a certain ethos about it that feels like you're watching a comic actually play out. There's a lot that I really like about this, and I completely, unlike a lot of things, I completely see why people don't like Snyder. I'm not one of those fucking Snyder evangelists where half of the industry is out to get him and all the fans are being ridiculous. I do think that there's a big Marvel bias, but that's a completely different can of fucking beans and potatoes and worms and things of that nature.
Potatoes and worms.
Well, here's the thing.
Tanner's been making funny faces.
That's what I'm having for dinner.
I'm going to
gumbo.
I'm going to attack that last claim just because I immediately had a thought about that. There's a Marvel bias because Marvel just puts out better movies on the whole.
Yeah, and I do think that the generalization towards that might be part of the reason why something like this gets attacked a little more. You saying that there's a bias, I think is founded in something a little bit more realistic and reasonable than just, oh, DC sucks. Because DC doesn't suck. They put out a ton of good movies. They have a ton of great characters. They've been around a long time. Their movies, on the whole, are not great. And I personally believe that extends to the work that Snyder has done, making it hard for me to foresee this being a solid comic product.
Okay, so here, because you said he has a style to it, and people act like
great
the Snyder Cut. The Snyder Cut of the Justice League is going to be like this. Like you said, they act like it's going to be this godsend. It's his vision. It's going to be the best comic book movie, even though it's technically a TV show because it's coming out in episodes.
Miniseries, whatever.
It's a miniseries, whatever. Besides the point. People forget that Zack Snyder also made Man of Steel, which is average, and Batman v Superman, which admittedly has some really fun, has some very creative stuff in it, but also some very, very, very strange writing decisions, and ends in a big gray smoke monster that sort of doesn't give any credence to the claim that, oh, Zack Snyder, he's this visionary, he's different from other comic book movie writers, because he ended his movie with a giant gray smoke monster. Yeah. So that's listen. I'll be the first to praise this movie if in fact he sort of dismantles the amalgamation mess that was 2017's Justice League and puts together his own version from stuff that was on the cutting room floor. I'm excited to see it. I'm going to watch it as soon as it comes out, but I don't have faith because I don't think Zack Snyder he's a solid director. I don't think he's a visionary in the case that would warrant a cut of his movie.
I'm the opposite. I would just want to speak because I'm the opposite of Tanner. I'm not excited for this movie. I'm not going to watch it when it comes out, and I just really don't care. I've never seen any DC movies. I've heard Wonder Woman is kind of good. Like what, the most recent one?
It ends with a giant gray smoke monster.
I don't think I've barely seen the Nolan ones either, but that's a different. I just as little as I care for Marvel, I care for DC even less. Even though realistically they're not very different. I think I think you have the cultural bias of Marvel's like, well, all up in the stuff. It's got a bit of a more consistent release cycle, so you see something coming out every once in a while, and these two dudes are talking about it all the time, and so I hear it, and then maybe I'm on an airplane and I watch all the Avengers without the ones in between in a row, and I'm just like disappointed because I did, why would I spend all that time to watch like the ones that build the plot in between the first and second and third Avengers? But just for me, there's not much that grips me about it. I really don't think Zack Snyder has a lot of merit as an artist, but I haven't seen very much of it, so I really have no legs to back that claim up with. But I don't care about comic book movies, so I don't care about this.
That's fair.
I just want to talk about the reason why I am even talking about this at all. It is I don't have too much to say on Zack Snyder. I've seen a solid handful of his films. I think some of them are bad. I think some of them are good. I don't think he's in any way really.
You're kind of cutting out there, Tucker. Maybe
I personally
repeat yourself a little bit.
That visionary idea that they hit whatever. Okay, where should we start? I'll just start. I don't really see him as particularly visionary, set himself apart from any of the directors. But the thing that he did with this to set himself apart from the other directors is a big fuck you to people who enjoy cinema. Fucking black and white cropped aspect ratio. It's so fucking pretentious. It's unnecessary. It's not going to apply to the final product. It does not reflect his fucking vision.
Well,
he did these things.
He did want to make the entire thing in black and white. That is a fact.
Is that true? Okay, I didn't know that.
That's true. He said that.
But it's not going to do that. It's not. There's no fucking way it comes out and it's in black and white.
Because Warner Brothers, HBO is like, no, don't put the whole thing in black and white. So it's not even his. It's not even his actual vision.
I don't want to, Tucker. I don't want to.
It's just so frustrating.
But I do want to respond.
I'm just gonna say it's just very frustrating that it's seen as so visionary and next level stuff, and always setting himself apart. He just comes off as an asshole when he does this. It's not a comic book movie. He's trying to make it seem like it's more. It's not going to be more than any other comic book movie. There's no fucking way. Like legitimately, and it's just putting those kind of things on it to make it seem like it's something more is just pretentious as all hell and really fucking obnoxious.
So I want to return to two things I said. Well, the main one, I don't know if I've got two things to say. I'm going to return to one thing. I'm not a cinephile, and the fact of the matter is the pretentiousness that people that are deeply ingrained in the film critique industry of how you guys are, the way you see that as pretentious, a lot of people see the interior workings of a lot of directors as pretentious. The pretentiousness swirls around all of Hollywood. I don't think you can just cast that at Zack Snyder, and I don't think anything he's doing here is particularly different. At the same time, I think a lot of his stylistic choices, whether or not they stick for the full product, are emblematic of the fact that above anything else, this is a win over the corporate infrastructure that fucked Zack Snyder and fucked a lot of the actors. Because if you really look into what happened, the way he left for family stuff, the way that Jeff Johns opportunistically hopped in to get Joss Whedon, I'll save my personal opinions of him for a different juncture.
Kind of a piece of shit, but yeah.
Yeah. The way that film got absolutely ripped out from under him, the way that it fucked over the people in the film, the way that they don't stand with Warner Brothers, the fact that this is Zack Snyder's chance to actually release the movie that we were supposed to get the first time is important. And it's important that this is the thing that's going to be there for HBO Max. It's important and symbolic for a lot of these people and for the larger fan community that we're actually getting this product instead of what Warner Brothers just cut up and recut and edited to hell and passed off and put out in theaters. There is a lot behind this. I don't think you can ignore the legitimate redemption arc that is here after the studio system completely dismantled the original Justice League. There's more operating here than just Zack Snyder as a creative in a vacuum.
Okay.
He got fucked.
I will concede that, yeah, it's cool that it's like a sort of fan movement to see this cut of the film, because there was a multitude of factors that resulted in Zack Snyder's even a partial part of his vision being put to screen. But at the same time, I want to attack a point that you made early on in that, well, yes, pretentiousness does sort of circulate in Hollywood among directors, as you said. You don't see, I don't know, who's a Marvel director. Like, Taika Waititi doesn't think he's making art with Thor Ragnarok, you know? Zack Snyder, with the way that he's talking about this film and advertising it by putting his trailer in Kurosawa mode on his Twitter, he really thinks that he's doing something. I think he's buying into the fan push of this too much. So I think it's being overhyped. Like I said, I'm gonna watch it, but it's just it's a comic book movie, and based on the original product, not a very good one at that.
I think that's important. I think what you said speaks a lot to why I disconnect from a lot of the Marvel stuff, because Waititi's not doing that. The people directing fucking Ant-Man, who is a Paul Feig, they're not doing that because
it was hang on. Peyton Reed, that's who it was.
Peyton Reed, because they're inside of this superstructure that pumps out very formulaic films a couple times a year, and they service what the MCU wants to do, and what the MCU has done is fucking incredible. At the same time, I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to make the CBM genre more than it is now, and whether or not he can execute on it is a question that we'll see next year when we get the cut. But comic books, as comic books, not as comic book films, but as comic books, have done a lot and have pushed forward their own medium a lot. And if they were always just Silver Age pulps you get for a little bit and it's fucking everyone in their tights running around doing nothing, the medium wouldn't be where it is now. I think that whether or not Snyder succeeds in making quote unquote cinematic art is immaterial to the fact that he's pushing it forward in a way that not many other people are. And there are examples of people on the Marvel side doing it that I think are just as reputable, whether you're talking about Logan or you're talking about just the MCU direct films that have more of an artistic statement to them. But what Snyder is doing is trying to be more. And I think that by being...
Oh, we lost you for a little while there.
Uh-oh, Abram.
Uh-oh.
Oh, shit.
Oh, God.
Oh, no.
Choose a side, Tucker.
It broke him.
Abram got snapped by the
Oh my god! Yeah,
by the Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers canceled. They cut the stream.
I fucking hate Discord. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're back.
Warner
Abram,
Brothers.
yeah.
Warner
Yeah,
Brothers
Warner
is out to
Brothers
get
cut
you.
the stream.
No,
I basically
honestly, I do think, yeah, I do think that what you're saying is pretty important because as someone who is a very large fan of comic books, I have you can't say it's behind the couch, but I have a very large stack of comic books back there. I've read plenty of comics, both Marvel and DC. I do think that I as someone who loves comic book movies, Endgame being my personal favorite movie of all time, I want the genre to evolve.
Yeah.
I do think, however, there is a juxtaposition there that makes the pretentiousness of him choosing those the black and white and the silentness and the corrupt aspect ratio feel really out of place. The CGI and the in my opinion, visual style of the Justice League shots and things like that, and just the fact that these characters they're set up in weird ways. This is not. It doesn't really feel coherent. If it had a much a more let's compare it to Wes Anderson, whose films I would say are art because they're very consistent. He's going for this specific style that I feel transcends.
Certainly has a style. Yes.
Yes.
And he uses 4:3 aspect ratio.
Sometimes, yes. And if Zack Snyder had portrayed these characters with a different style from everything else, I feel like it would have been more visionary. It would have fit a certain style and felt like it was going above and beyond. But as it stands, they look like generic versions of these characters with basic level CGI. The fucking is that Steppenwolf, Spiky Man? That is just a fucking generic amalgamation. It looks like a base level comic book movie, but he's saying he has a vision. I'm not really feeling that from anything that we've seen, except for the fact that he's fucking layering on fucking cropped aspect ratio and black and white on this what appears to be generic superhero movie stuff. I'm obviously saving my final judgment. I hope I fucking love the Snyder Cut. That would be fucking great. But I just don't have high hopes because I'm not really seeing anything coherent from my point of view.
What an arc if the Snyder Cut turns out to be good and Tucker and I have to eat our fucking
Oh,
words.
I'll eat poop on stream.
No,
wait, let's take that back.
Call. That's a big call.
Let's
is
take
a
that
big
back.
call there, but Buckaroo.
Let's take that back. All right.
Well, we've spent a lot of time on this. I think Abram
Yeah.
deserves the last word, because he's withstood our barrage of assaults. So, Abram, deliver us one final message, and then we'll figure out some other random thing to talk about.
I guess.
My final message is that I think what you guys are saying makes total sense, and I'm just gonna let Zack Snyder speak for himself, because if you guys can see in the Snyder Cut what I can see in Batman vs Superman, you're gonna understand where I come from. And if you can't, it's a failure on his behalf, and that's where I'm gonna leave it.
There you go.
Very reasonable.
That is from.
This is a very reasonable conversation, I think.
Yeah.
None of
Well,
us.
I didn't go to the point of calling.
Moving backlog banter.
It could have gotten much
Huh?
worse.
Backlog banter civil war has been avoided.
Yes.
The union has been kept together.
Backlog banter, civil discourse is what we'll call that.
Now that would be a boring Captain America movie.
Oh, Captain America civil discourse.
They just sit around fucking 12 angry men, but it's the Avengers. Oh god, dude.
That'd be
Do
so
you see
boring.
the fucking joy on my
Don't give
face
Zack
right
Snyder
now?
any ideas. He'll make a 4-hour cut of Justice League, but they'll sit around a
That's
table
the
and talk to
coolest
each
thing
other.
I ever heard. That's the coolest thing I ever fucking heard.
I can't wait to see what War Machine has to say on the subject.
Whether War Machine thinks the
Yeah,
kid
they
who
fleshed out his
possibly
character a little
murdered his dad in the apartment is guilty or not.
Huh?
No, that's Cyborg.
Why is he talking about
Cyborg.
War Machine though? I don't
'Cause
get it.
We're talking about Avengers.
But he's
No, I was talking about Avengers.
Timo
Yeah,
doesn't know where he is.
Timo, do
We
you know
gotta
who
stop
War
talking about
Machine
comic
is?
books.
I've read just those are the only comic books I've actually read. It's like the first 4 of the reissue of Justice League from like 2012.
Wow. The New 52?
That's
Is that
solid.
what that is?
That was New 52 era.
Probably, yeah.
Jeez, I don't know.
Hmm.
I had them
Which
in a
means it's probably not emblematic of most of the things that these movies are based off of.
Yeah, New
Well-
52 wasn't phenomenal.
Yeah.
It had some good
Yeah.
stories.
We'll talk about
Court
it
of
one
Owls.
It
day.
was just
that was fun.
there have been a couple comic series, graphic novel series that I've been interested in, but I just never. It's like Tucker and television. I just never
Hmm.
get into it. I read a book or a volume or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, that was like really awesome. And then I never go out and get the other one. and it's just like
Bone.
Right
I've
next to
never
my
read
stack
Bone.
of books, right next to my stack of books is a stack of comics that I've also never read. So I'm in the same boat.
I really like I like fantasy media, right? And like there's some excellent fantasy graphic novels because they can display the George
Holy shit!
Eye of the World, The Wheel of Time is supposed to be really good. I think I've read like the first.
Oh, The Wheel of Time. Yeah,
I've read
I've
the
heard of
first
that.
comic book adaptation of it. It's also just a novel, and that was very good. But I never read the rest of them. The remaining 8. Abby's hanging out in the chat. He
Hey,
says
Abby.
he hasn't read comics either.
I think Timo should read this. This is Batman Nightfall. It's let's see. I'll give you an exact figure. It's 600 and
Actually, I have read some. I read Tucker's got the full volume of Alita Battle Angel, the full collection.
Oh, that's right.
I read the entire first volume, which is a thick ass book, in one sitting after the boys had a boogaloo at his house.
Yeah, they're down there on that bottom shelf.
But you
I
haven't
brought,
read 630 pages of shitty 90s Batman comic.
Shitty. Hang on.
Did you not like that one? I'm confused on your recommendation.
Yeah.
Well, because I just want to see. Knowing what I know about Timo's relationship to comics, I want him to sit down at gunpoint and read all of Nightfall and then tell me about it.
If it's an engaging enough story, I'd probably read the whole
not.
thing. Okay.
It's not.
How much of it have you read?
I brought
630 pages.
Oh Christ!
I brought along Batman Hush when I went home for Thanksgiving, thinking that I would have time to read that. I didn't.
Tanner, you want to tell us about your time at Thanksgiving? I saw you giving a little
You want to put this on the internet?
Well, if you don't want to, you don't
already
have
put
to.
it on the internet. You
Listen,
already put it on.
I like that
That's
tweet,
true.
buddy boy.
That's true. I only put.
Like it.
I have 90 followers. That's way more people than usually watch these.
I haven't even seen this tweet.
I
Go
didn't
fill
have
yourself in while he begins.
I stayed at my parents' home for 72 hours. Well, a little more than that.
72 hours. Dawn on the final day.
That was me when I walked into the front door of my parents' home for Thanksgiving. As people predicted, Thanksgiving was full of pleasantries and political discussions and things of that nature.
Pleasantries and political discussions.
Yeah, those two things don't go together.
Holy shit!
They are very
That's a
separate.
That's a good podcast name.
You shouldn't have said that, damn it. No one else would have thought of it, and then we could have
Damn
made
it.
our...
I'll start that podcast. I don't give a shit. Whatever. So yeah, I won't get into the minutia of what was said and what was discussed, but I ended up, as anyone can read from my tweet, I ended up telling my parents that I did indeed vote for Mr. Joseph R. Biden Jr. You have to say his full name. It's like Beetlejuice. If you say it 3 times, he shows up and he sniffs you or whatever. Listen, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to get into the minutia of what was said. There was also things that also made me lose my mind. As the first entry on the list of things I tweeted was I had to help 4 people over the age of 40, 2 of them over the age of 50 set up new iPhones.
Nice.
So that was just flat out exhausting.
Don't you like it when you show up and the Wi-Fi's broken and they try to make you fix it and it's just
okay, listen. For anybody who doesn't know, you're very lucky that I'm not calling in, not tuning in from my hometown, because the entire town of Sibley, Iowa, the internet is run through a piece of bronze wire attached to 2 Pringles cans on either end of town. You got to be very careful you don't step on the wire, otherwise the internet goes down all over the place. I'm being facetious, of course, but the internet is just god awful, just the worst. Listen, it's atrocious. There's a noticeable drop when I was home. My parents said that they noticed that things wouldn't load just because my phone was on the Wi-Fi at our home.
These kids and their damn phones.
Those kids and their goddamn phones. Always dragging down the tin can Wi-Fi. So yes, that was my Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you had a good weekend.
I had a good weekend. Had some good food.
Was it
some good food? There was some food that was eaten by yours truly, and some words that were exchanged.
Give him a round of applause. Tanner did indeed eat food.
I did. I consumed.
Yeah,
Now-
Abby says he relates to you in having to fix technology. I have to. My grandma's getting fiber optic internet. She's had DSL. She's going from DSL to fiber. Like, she's gonna go from much worse internet than I have to much better internet than I have. And I'm like, she's almost 90. She doesn't
Holy shit.
She doesn't use the internet because she doesn't need to. She gardens. It's just like, what's the girls these days that know how to do two things or whatever.
Oh yeah.
90-year-old
girl
grandmas
born
these days
after
know how to do two
1992.
things: canning, gardening, selling cucumbers.
You heard it here first, folks. Timo's 90-year-old grandmother has DSL.
Nope, she's getting fiber optic internet.
She no longer has DSL.
Blows my friggin' mind.
Hey, Tanner, when I'm getting back in town, I'm gonna fucking slap you for that. Mark my goddamn words. God. Abram, look like you have something to comment on.
Well, no, not particularly. I'm very amused by your tales of encounters with the elderly. I had to try to show my grandma how to print out an email the other day, which is not awesome. But my question was
printed emails. That reminds me, I gotta tell you about the printed emails at work. So my boss receives emails. I'm sorry to interrupt, but this is very important. My boss gets emails from crazy people who like to spread fake news, legitimate fake news. And so what he does with this legitimate, like, blatantly false stuff, it's political relating, calling Muslim members of Congress like terrorists and shit like that. It's bad, and I really hate to see it.
Are my parents sending those emails?
They might as well be, because but he takes these emails and he prints them off. And the idea of the printed email, I love the idea of the printed email. Then he goes and he reads from these emails while he's got his morning call-in show on the AM station, because they run like eight radio stations there. And he's like, and so he reads the printed emails full of fake news to the listeners of northern Minnesota. And I find it absolutely terrifying and absolutely hilarious at the exact same moment. It's the printed email.
Does he inform the readers that this is in fact crazy people who have emailed to the radio station?
No, he believes it.
No fucking way.
He believes it all.
Oh, excuse me. I was giving your boss too much credit. Excuse me.
Why would you believe that?
I don't know.
He believes
I don't know.
You could send him you should send him an email.
We should.
I might.
That's not where I thought the story was going. I thought it was to make the locals look a fool. I didn't realize it was because it was just conversation starters. That's very interesting.
Conversation starters.
These are legit. The people who send it believe it, and the people who read it believe it, and the people who listen believe it. And whoa. AM radio is bad, man. It's bad.
Yeah.
But now, do we want to end the episode by finding out what a certain member here believes or doesn't believe or knows or doesn't know? Basically, fucking throw the segue out the window. Do we want to end with Tucker as an idiot this week?
I think it's tradition that we do.
Poetic justice.
Poetic justice.
Sure.
In a way.
For my nonsensical brain. A fun fact. I'm going to throw out a first Tucker is an idiot. This is just a statement. This has nothing to do with the show. I realized last night while watching From Here to Eternity that I had never seen Frank Sinatra before. I had no idea what Frank Sinatra looked like. I didn't know who he was.
That is a Tucker is an idiot moment.
As the movie was ending, I paused the movie and I was like, looking on the I was like, when is Frank Sinatra going to show up? Because I thought that he was like a minor role. I had no idea what he looked like because I think I was thinking about Elvis. I thought that they were the same.
Listen, I would comfort you and say that they're two very similar people, but
they're not. No, they're not.
They just were alive around the same time.
I learned this last night.
Around the same time, like within 50 years of each other.
Well, no, there's.
I guess Frank Elvis was in the 50s, but like Frank Sinatra was bigger.
They almost definitely hung out. They probably
did coke together or whatever,
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, but let's transition from me confirming that I'm an idiot to the possibility that I might be an idiot.
More of it.
Timo, roll that shit.
Oh, what a thing.
Waka, 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 waka.
Waka, 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 waka. All right, Abram, take us away.
All right. Okay, Tucker, so what I have for you here is 7 questions. These are questions in which... you need to supply a person. These all relate to recent events. Now, some of these
Okay,
questions
wait.
are a little bit tricky, but in the
This is pop culture
Yeah.
stuff? Okay. Yes? Okay.
And in the question, there are clues if you pay attention. Okay.
Ah.
I feel comfortable in your ability to get at least half. I'd like you to get half.
Okay.
The first question is
Don't wanna get cocky.
the most recent. Last night, one of the biggest boxing pay-per-views of all time happened between Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. But for people in our age range, that fight wasn't nearly as exciting as the undercard fight because, bro, it isn't every day that you get to see this YouTuber, rapper, entertainment superstar KO a former NBA icon. Which YouTuber is it?
I actually know this because I was on Twitter last night. It's Jake Paul.
It was Jake Paul.
Incredible.
I am
points for
freaking
knowing the
out.
other guy's name?
Yes, you should. I
Do I get
believe you
bonus
should.
points?
Yes.
Nate Robinson.
Yes.
Oh wow!
I just want to say
Wow.
that question was so brilliantly written.
I don't know what the reference was. I just knew the. I
Oh,
just knew
okay. Well,
What's the reference? Or like
Jake Paul
what's the clue?
has an album of the year where these songs
Yes.
called. It's
Wait, he
Everyday,
makes
Bro.
music? I thought he was just a YouTuber.
Yeah, well, he does. All.
Isn't that song like one of the most disliked videos on YouTube?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
By the way, before we get to the next question, that KO punch was fucking dirty. I
I
watched
don't
that
know.
fight.
I didn't watch.
That's the only
it.
reason I know anything about it is because people were talking about how fucked up that the KO was, and I haven't seen it. I don't give a shit.
Can you
about
put it on the internet right now that I'll hop in the ring with Jake Paul? I'll hop in the ring with him.
Jake
Jake
Paul's
or
a
Logan?
fucking animal in the ring.
Wait,
He's
what's
gonna,
the difference between Logan Paul and Jake Paul? I mean,
They're
I know
different
they're
people.
different people.
They're
Well,
brothers.
yes.
They're brothers.
Oh, they're related. Okay,
Yes.
They're brothers.
didn't know this. We're learning
Okay,
new
here's
stuff
the next question for you. She might have a WAP, but she also has a hole in her foot after Tory Lanez allegedly shot her. Who is this referring to?
Well, the only thing I know relating to WAP is Ben Shapiro saying. So
Wait.
I can't answer this. I'm not able to answer. I don't know. I'm assuming it's the person who either sung or wrote that song or both. I don't know the answer to that.
The answer is Megan
I'm
Thee
gonna say
Stallion.
Ben Shapiro. Oh,
And
Oh,
not Ben Shapiro.
Megan Thee Stallion. Megan Thee Stallion, by the way, quick shout out. Body. I listen to that every time I hop in the car. That's an earworm and it's a bop.
quick shout out to Tanner Dykstra, I think that was the answer to the first question ever of Tucker is an Idiot.
I think so.
Yeah, he made up fake rapper names, and Megan Thee Stallion wasn't fake.
No.
Time for your next question, Tucker, also about a rapper. His lean may cost more than your rent, but he couldn't make it out to the polls even after Trump brought him on stage at a rally.
Oh, okay. Well, there's a few people who this could be.
But his lean may cost more than your rent. That's a big.
Okay, wait,
that's
hold
a
on.
big
Is there multiple choice for this at all?
No.
Well,
You've been-
shit.
you've
Well,
been-
I might have.
You've graduated.
choose
You've graduated from the land of multiple choice to
Yeah,
the
you've
world
been
of
guessing
free
too much.
response.
Well, I might have been able to get it because I have seen pictures with this alleged individual on the stage with Donald J. Trump. But I no fucking clue. I couldn't guess his name.
I
It's
saw the
Mr.
videos.
Pumpernickel himself.
It's a
Little Pump.
Little Pump.
Lil Pump.
Oh.
Hearing the
Yeah, I
president
would not.
ask Little Pump to come up on stage was so fucking funny.
Oh,
It was
didn't he get it
awesome.
wrong? What did he call him? He didn't
Yeah.
call
Oh, he
him
called him Little Pimp.
Lil Pimp.
Yeah.
I can guarantee it wasn't Donald J. Trump's idea to have that man there. Someone was like, "Hey, do this," and he's like,
Who were
"Who? What? Oh, Lil Pimp."
There
Oh.
were two other rappers that endorsed Donald Trump in the lead up to the election.
Well, there's
Yeah,
Kanye.
it's Lil Wayne and
It was
Wayne.
Lil Wayne and 50 Cent.
Oh.
Okay,
Well.
all right. I'm not my KD right now is not very good.
Let's bring
No.
it back here, Tucker, because this enigmatic OnlyFans star made headlines when her YouTube account was suddenly deleted and then just as suddenly reinstated.
Oh, of
Well,
course.
the only famous person from OnlyFans I know would be Belle Delphine.
You would be
Bella?
correct.
Belle?
Ah,
Very
very
good job, sir.
All right.
You would be correct.
I actually don't know anything about her except for the bathwater thing.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know.
Okay.
Tucker, this popular gaming YouTuber was asked by his wife what his birthstone is, and he replied with the Chaos Emerald.
Ooh,
Someone that I've
know.
been obsessed with. Who that we both enjoy would respond to his wife that his birthstone is the Chaos Emerald?
That we both enjoy. Oh well, it would have to be Donkey then.
It is Video Game Donkey.
That's pretty badass. I didn't know he said. Well, first thing in my mind was like, okay, which of the YouTubers that we both watch have a wife? that eliminated a lot of them. But yeah, I mean, Donkey classically has been married and had a relationship. But
Tucker, during his chaotic interview on Joe Rogan, this rapper talked about his plans to reinvent civilization.
Probably fucking Kanye, wasn't it?
It is Kanye West.
Yes, of course.
He talked about his plan. I didn't watch that episode of the JRE.
I know very little about Kanye West, except the things that I've been informed from probably mostly just you guys. Tanner and I have talked about his stance on masturbation a handful of times.
Yes.
And I just know that he ran for president. And that he does do music. I've heard a couple of the songs. I've heard songs where he goes poop de scoop, poop de loop de poop poop. Like,
oh, that's a great song,
dude.
This next verse right here.
Bars. He calls his own shit bars and then proceeds to say poop.
Hey, so
he's got the Roblox video too. The Roblox music video.
Oh
with
yeah,
Little Pump.
Yeah, with Little Pump.
With
I need to see that.
You think they bonded over liking Donald Trump? I hope they did.
I hope
That's
they did.
cute.
Brotherly love.
Yeah.
And final question for you, Tucker, here. This isn't a folktale, but her behind-the-scenes documentary about folklore can be streamed on Disney Plus right now.
Ah.
What?
I don't know who this is.
This isn't a folktale, but her behind-the-scenes documentary about folklore can be streamed on Disney Plus right now.
We'll give you a time limit. If you can pull up the highest-rated thing on Letterboxd right now, that'll give you the answer.
You got 10 seconds.
That's unfair. That's unfair. But I'm going to do it anyway.
Folklore is an album if you need a little bit of help.
Yeah, it's a musical artist.
Oh, God. Oh, no! No!
Is Letterboxd down?
No, Letterboxd just doesn't have the thing on when you look on the website. Hold on.
He's failing. He's failing.
Probably my happiest season. What? What the fuck are you talking about, Tanner?
I saw...
Oh, Taylor Swift.
There you go. It was
Taylor Swift.
That's not the highest rated thing on. Well, I didn't get it, but
right.
That was not the highest rated thing on Letterboxd. You fucking animal.
Oh, I saw a screenshot where it was.
So Tucker, if we ignore that question, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 7, which is more than half.
That's pretty good considering he has graduated into the world of free response.
Okay. I do want to add one of my own, since this is going to be old news if we do this next week. There's some TikTok drama going on, Tucker.
Oh God.
Okay, well, honestly, let's fucking put this one to the class because you're the only one here who actually has TikTok.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's put it to the class. Okay.
Okay.
Class.
Okay. First of all, can anyone name the D'Amelio sisters? Who are they? What are their first names?
One of them's Charlie, right?
Yeah, there you go. Charlie.
Who's the other one? I see their drama news.
Eric D'Amelio.
I see their drama news on my Snapchat Discover page on the news thing, but I don't click on it because I'm not lame.
Oh. I forgot the other name. I know what you're talking
Dixie.
about though.
Did any of you see at least for me, all of yesterday there was a picture of a guy going and it's like he has the loudest burp ever. And I didn't click on it, but I thought that was funny. And I'm like, you know what, Snapchat, thank you.
I think our Discover pages on Snapchat are very different. Mine's full of TikTok drama.
That's where he's got to stay updated for being his quizmaster. Okay.
Charlie, the young teenage girls that they are embroiled in some TikTok drama right now.
Yes, they are.
Because there was a video of Charlie being quite rude to her personal chef because she has more money than any of us will ever make in our entire lives combined, because she dances on a silly little app. So, this caused quite an uproar, especially amongst one of these individuals. Okay,
Amongst an individual.
Amongst an individual. Well, amongst the internet and but this
among us,
individual
amongst individual.
Added a additional wrinkle to the discussion.
That's the single player for Among Us.
A viral reaction and a viral feud has started between the D'Amelio sisters and one of these individuals.
I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna look and see on my Snapchat feed.
James Charles, Logan Paul, previously mentioned, Trisha Paytas, or Ethan Klein.
Well, it's probably the third one. I've never heard of that name before.
Okay, that's a complicated question because many of those individuals have become embroiled in this situation.
That's true. But
I don't know.
For the biggest feud, the one that has started the biggest feud.
I'm
Ethan Klein. I'm gonna say Ethan Klein. I don't know.
How do I buzz in?
Okay.
What?
Answer now.
I buzzed in. It's Trisha Paytas.
Trisha Paytas. Thank you very much.
Who is that?
That's what I said, right?
Did you say
I said
that?
the third one. I said the third one because I've never heard that name before.
Oh, interesting. Well, have you heard of Ethan Klein?
Yeah.
H3H3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she was. I was looking for a bit of a trick.
He plays
question
games with
there.
Donkey.
I was looking for a trick question there because she was on H3H3's podcast when she brought this up.
Oh.
Well, here's where it gets really complicated. Tanner, because then James Charles got mad at Trisha Paytas for what Trisha Paytas said, and then Logan Paul brought it up on his podcast Impulsive, which I listened to religiously.
Been embroiled in this. It's
okay, well, quick question, you motherfucker. Yeah. Why would you present me with a TikTok question and then give me a bunch of trick answers? That's fucked up. You could have put fucking George Washington on there, and I would have been like.
Well, yes. And for bonus points, is it true that in defending her claim against Charlie and Dixie D'Amelio, Trisha Paytas said she defended herself by saying, "When I was 19, I was giving blowjobs on Santa Monica Pier for $5."
That's too good to be. That's too good to be wrong. That has to be true.
She did indeed say that. She justified the the maturity of a 19-year-old by saying, "When I was 19."
When I was 19, I was sitting on a dumbass podcast instead of writing my essay.
That's true.
I guess I'm turning 20 next year.
Well,
20 fucking 3 weeks.
Jesus Christ. Abram's going to come back from his hiatus and be an old man.
God.
Is that true? Are you going to be gone for your birthday?
No. My birthday's Christmas Eve. I guess we should tell the audience that I'm going to be gone.
Yeah. This is a little update.
Yeah, quick life update. I'm leaving.
Bye.
The 6th. Fuck you. Goodbye. You'll never see me again. No, I'm coming back. I'm leaving next Sunday to go see my girlfriend, and I'll be back on the 22nd.
He's taking some well-deserved time off.
Yes.
Yeah, because he puts in all the work, right, guys? I'm just kidding.
I'm just
kidding. You do great work here.
Everyone knows that I put in all the work.
Tanner.
I do great work at CBR. I do what I need. I stretch and Photoshop Tanner's face onto Baby Yoda's body. That's what I do here.
That's what we do. That's what we do.
That is what we do.
Yeah, or fucking.
I think that wraps it up, though.
Whatever his real name is.
Grongus.
Grogu.
Thank you for watching. If any of you still are.
Abby's still hanging out with us.
Good, thank you, buddy. No one else. I'm gonna have to talk to Becky. She said she was gonna tune in. But
oh my god.
Looks like she didn't. This is disappointing.
SMH my head.
I will. Yeah, you should.
Well.
All right. Well, we're gonna go record an episode of Quest for the Bestest, which you can catch next Friday on youtube.com/backlogbanter. By the way, I fucking updated our page, so we no longer have a string of random letters and numbers. It is youtube.com/backlogbanter now.
Nice.
Excellent. And
you just need 100 subscribers. It's not
Tanner, I'm gonna take it because it's mine.
Okay, you do it.
You want to listen to the Quest for the Best? It's available on all the podcast platforms. Thanks to our friends over at Anchor. You can listen on Spotify, Apple Music, Overcast, Radio Public, Google Podcasts. You can get it on all of them. Go hit download and take a listen to the Quest for the Bestest because it's freaking ballin', and we got lots of good episodes in the pipeline, including the one we're working on today.
We're laying pipe on Quest for the Bestest.
Truly,
hell yeah, we are. Hell yes, brother.
Hell yeah. And with that.
All right. Goodbye, shotties.
Again.